Welcome back, my dear students. Now we will start the next topic in compaction chapter, that is factors affecting compaction. See, in the previous class we studied what? We studied definition of compaction, light compaction, heavy compaction. In light compaction, heavy compaction, we studied one more line, that is a zero air wide line, and after that we studied what? After that we studied what? Compaction energy. How much energy we are putting, that we studied. And after that, now new concept, that is your factors affecting compaction. Factors affecting compaction. What is the meaning of this? Meaning is what all factors, what all parameters which affects our compaction. Either this affecting, it might be a positive or negative. Means some parameters may help you to increase the compaction or increase the density. Some parameters may not help you to increase the compaction. They may create some obstruction between the while you are compacting. That we are going to study. In detail, we have only 5 parameters. Only we have 5 parameters which disturbs or helps our compaction. That is your water content is a one parameter, and the second one is amount and type of compaction. The second and the third one is method of compaction, type of soil, and admixtures used. These 5 parameters will affect the compaction. Either it is a positive effect or negative, that we will see it later. Okay, we'll study one by one how water content will affect us. This you already know. Water content, how it affects the dry density or compaction, that you already know. How? Initially, when you go on adding the water, the density started increasing and it reaches one particular point, and later if you go on adding the water, it decreases. Okay, how it happens? Look at here. This is a three-phase diagram. This is the three-phase diagram. This is the soil, and this is a little amount of water is there. Well, let us consider, no, this is a three-phase diagram, because we take O1 dry soil. No, O1 dry soil means what? Everything is air, no water in it. Okay, first I said in a last lecture there is a 12% of water we will add. When we add a 12% of water, this much of water is occupied. Then is there any change in the volume? No change in the volume. Therefore what happens here? Bulk density formula is mass by volume. No change in the volume because water is occupied in the voids. Therefore no change in the volume, but mass, yes, earlier this much of the mass, when we add a water, mass increased. Therefore density increased. We got this point. From here to this point we got. Then again we will add some amount of water. Then is there any change in the volume? No change in the volume. But mass? Yes, mass is changed. Therefore, density is increased. Therefore, another point. Then again add a little amount of water. Yes, we added. Then no change in the volume. Yes, and change in the mass. Therefore, again increased. Like that, it go on increased. And after that, if I add a little amount of water, the volume is increased. Mass also increased. See, mass is also increased, volume is also increased. Then how to conclude gamma B? How to conclude gamma B? Here, compared to increase in the mass, means mass is increased, of course. Volume is also increased, of course. But comparing to these two, this increase in the mass can be ignored because we are adding water. We are adding water, and that too little much amount of water we are adding, and therefore the volume change becomes predominant here. The volume change becomes predominant. Increase in the volume, we can observe it. Therefore volume increase is observed. Therefore density is decreased. That you are getting here. Further, if you add a water, the density is decreasing. Then at a particular point you are getting one peak point, that is called as OMC/MDD, that we already learned. Understood? Therefore, water content is a very important parameter which affects our compaction. Therefore, to get a maximum density, you should not add more water. Even you should not say that I will add a little water. You should add optimum water. This is a one point. The second point is amount and type of compaction. Amount of compaction means that you know already compaction energy. In a heavy compaction, you used the bigger hammer and bigger drop and number of layers were more. Therefore, the energy applied to the soil is more. Therefore, that is called the amount of compaction. Therefore, if you use, say for example, in your class, if a very healthy boy, for example, Shreyas, if Shreyas compact the soil, that becomes a very compacted soil. If any some other Vihan compacts the soil, then that becomes very light compaction. Therefore, that also depends on compaction, amount of compaction. The same way, type of compaction, how you are compacting, whether you are hitting it, means you are dropping, whether you are dropping or you are kneading. Kneading means what? Kneading means what? Just I cannot show in the video. Kneading andre ಒತ್ತೋದು, that is KNED. You search in the net. Kneading, you can do it kneading, or you can vibrate and compact. Therefore, that depends again the compaction. The same thing here, it is represented that if the compaction energy increase, then the curve shifts leftwards, then the OMC shifts leftwards and dry density increases. Right, that you observe. This is very important factor which affects our compaction. Then the very important one more is method of compaction, which method you are using. Okay, that is, this is a type of compaction. We can bring this type of compaction as a method of compaction. You can delete it from here and you can bring it as a method of compaction. That is, the dry density achieved by soil depends on the following characteristics of compaction. That is the weight of the compacting equipment. If you are using a light hammer and if you are using a heavy hammer, then again the compaction will differ. Then the type of compaction that you are using, if you are using a impact or kneading or rolling, static pressure, which type you are using, that also depends. And the area of contact of compacting equipment with soil, very important. Say I have one ground here, I will take one small stone and I will just put on, I will compact it by using that small stone. Just I will hit it like this with my hand. And I will take one bulldozer. Bulldozer will have a big wheel like this. This will be having some big wheel here that will move on the ground. Then this compaction is different, this compaction is different. That they are saying this stone, small stone, has a small cross section area that in contact with the soil, but this bulldozer, this wheel has a very large contact area on the soil. Therefore, that also depends. Time of exposure, that each of these approaches will yield different compactive effort. Time of exposure, how many times you are compacting, that's also. Further, suitability of particular method depends on type of soil. You cannot say that, sir, I always use a bulldozer, I always use the vibration machines, I always use a kneading equipments. No, that also depends on type of soil. Okay. Next, type of soil. If you have a, which type of soil? For example, if you have a clay soil, then if you compact this side, that volume will increase. It will play like a balloon. If you squeeze at one side, the balloon volume will increase at another side, like that. But gravels and sands, just if you vibrate it, that will be compacted. Therefore, the compaction depends on the type of soil. CH means what? High compressible clay, low compressible clay, low compressible silt, well graded sand, well graded gravel. See, the compaction is increasing as you go, the particle sizes are increasing. This particle size is very small particles, somewhat big particles, somewhat big particles, somewhat big particles, and somewhat very, 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 very big particles. Right? Like that, as you go on increasing the particle size, then the OMC comes this side. OMC reduces and density increases. This you are going to observe. Okay. Then addition of admixtures. Obviously, if we add some admixture to that, then the compaction will increase. Admixtures such as very finer than the soil, lime is there, and some chemicals are there. Stabilizing agents are the admixtures added to the soil. The effect of adding these admixtures is to stabilize the soil. Stabilize means what? Increase the density. In many cases, they accelerate process of densification. That process I am reading it as disinfection. Disinfection means that spelling is different. No, that's why I was worrying why this disinfection come here. Disinfection is there in a water supply. That I was thinking in the mind. This is a densification. Yeah. Therefore, there are many admixtures. By adding them, the density will increase. That is, they are calling it as a densification. Okay, now these are for you that parameters which will affect your compaction. Okay, therefore whenever you go for compaction, you need to observe these parameters and nicely you need to handle them in the field. Okay, now thank you very much. In this class we studied type of factors affecting compaction. Thank you very much.